Seth,
Hello,
you're
friends.
muted.
We good? Okay,
Okay,
we good
yeah,
now?
yeah, we hear you now.
All
Yeah.
good technically? Okay,
Yes.
good. Great to see you guys. Hello to all our friends
Hello.
out there on planet Earth and beyond. We are here at the Great Transition every week as students of the authentic wisdom of Kabbalah, students of our teacher, the Kabbalist, Dr. Michael Lightman. We are looking at what is going on in the world through that lens, through that ancient lens, through that spiritual lens, to understand who we are, where we are, what the heck is happening, and do we have any control over it? Where are we headed? Guys, the biggest
Yep.
selling foods, for example, I'm going to prove a point here. The biggest
Food?
selling foods,
Fruit?
the biggest
Food?
no,
Ah, food
foods,
or
like
fruit.
there's
Okay.
like
Yeah.
the
Yep. Yep.
billions of hamburgers that a company would sell.
All right.
The biggest selling foods are developed and tested by focus groups and product testing. If we make it a little bit sweeter,
Right.
how much more can we sell it? If we make this a little more saltier, actually, at the restaurant that we can actually sell more sodas. There's actually a correlation that we can show you in our data that if we make this a little saltier, we can actually increase soda sales by 13%.
Okay, I know this is just an intro, bro, but this when are we doing our show about food? We said we'll talk about we have a lot to say
It's a
about
soft
food.
favorite.
We have to talk about food. No, because this is
So
a
much there.
fascinating topic. Yeah, because
So fascinating. There's so
such
much
a
there.
reflection
So,
of culture. Yeah.
yeah. Reflection of culture, reflection of us. What does it
Yeah.
mean? Like if we add a little more of this addictive property to the vape, we'll be able to sell. Now we can't put too much of it in because of course there's FDA regulations, safety regulations, but we might be able to lobby to raise those regulations a little more. And if
Yeah.
we can put a little more in, did you see how much our sales increased last quarter since we added a little more of that addictive stuff because of the good job Larry did lobbying down in DC to get that
Good job,
raised
Larry.
a little bit. Okay,
And
so
maybe we can mess around with the substances, with the ingredients, just to lower costs and keep
right,
the
so for
apparent flavor. You know, there was this bar. Remember this where they used what was it? How do you call
You
it?
said wood or something.
Wood, like
Cellulose.
when sawdust.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
what was that? I don't remember what we talked
Some candy bar, like where they gradually replaced up to like 15% of the candy bar was actually sawdust.
Yeah.
And then
Turns out I
that's
love
like
sawdust.
I saw something this week about hamburgers also. Like now, the meat in hamburgers is like 70% filler. Okay. Anyway, but we keep consuming these things more and more
Okay.
and more and more, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Same thing with movies. Spider-Man, any guesses what number? I think I'm not a big Spider-Man guy, but I Googled it to make a point. I think we're up to Spider-Man 10.
Yeah. There's
Okay.
a Mission Impossible one again. Also, it's like the 19 or something. I don't
Okay,
know.
exactly. Mission Impossible 19, Avatar Part 2, like everything. Why?
Because it makes money. Let's make more.
It's
The story
formulaic.
is so good.
Yeah, it's redundant, it's nostalgic, and we know what's coming next. And this is, this is kind of what's going on there. So when something authentic comes along, it really strikes a chord in people.
Right.
It's not Avatar Part 2, even though the first one was great. Let's just repeat it again because we know that they're going to buy it. Like when we feel some story, when we feel something, we crave something real,
Right.
and when something that stands for something.
In an ocean of just ridiculous algorithmic content, just designed to get you to just and buy it again and
Yeah,
watch it again and just spend your money, come to the movie, watch this thing, hear this thing, all the Anyway, totally agree. Yeah.
To make another point about this, today there's absolutely no shortage of incredible human beings. Like I don't have TikTok, but I have Instagram. Like
That's
you
where you'll
can
find
s-
them.
You can see people playing guitar. You can see 9-year-olds playing guitar like Jimi Hendrix.
Right.
You can see like a 7-year-old kid juggling a soccer ball like 1,000 times. You can just put on American Idol and you can hear 15 people in a row sing like Aretha Franklin, right? Like it's no problem.
Yeah.
The unbelievable amount of talent in the
Yes.
human race and what people are capable of.
Right.
But we're flooded with it
Flooded.
now.
Yes.
It's like you could watch 10-year-olds play the guitar better than
Yeah.
I'll ever play after 30 years. Like for hours, you can just watch them
Yeah.
on. I can just sit here and cry that I'll never be that
My,
good.
my wife
right?
told me the other day how it's like today you can find like anything that's online. You're like, you want someone who eats like raw noodles off like a, straight off the whatever the fridge whilst doing like a handstand. You'll get that whatever you want.
Ding.
It's there.
Exactly. It's incredible.
Yeah.
So, but it's just, they're just another swipe though. Like someone who can play guitar like better than anyone, has played, something that used to take someone 30 years, an entire career to get to, now some 9-year-old kid can do it, but it doesn't stick, right? Because there's 400 9-year-old kids who can do it now. So again, it's not just about being able to do something fabulous. There's some inner kind of authenticity to it all, right? Because there's one Jimi Hendrix. Today, there's hundreds of thousands of players who can play like he played, but there was one him. There was some inner fire. So we have a story this week of some unknown singer-songwriter, virtually unknown. He had a little, like side hustle down where he was living playing music. He works a day job in sales. He struggles with mental health, high taxes, low wages. He sees how hard it is for his colleagues who are also working people just to make ends meet. He sees all the corruption, and he writes a song about it. And him and his manager film a video, and they put it out of him sitting there with his 2 dogs in front of a microphone in the trees, I guess in Virginia or wherever they were. And within a couple days, the song spreads around the whole world. It becomes the #1 song on the iTunes country music chart, passing Taylor Swift.
No.
Okay, a guy nobody knew. No billions of dollars behind him. No, I'm going to read these lyrics.
So this is the #1 song in America right now. Fair to say?
I think right now,
pretty much.
you could probably look it up. There's probably over 40 million views now. Well, it was 35 a couple days ago.
No, but it
just
also
in a
topped
few
the
weeks.
Billboard or whatever, right?
It was the
it's past
#1.
top
Yeah,
100.
you're right. It was the #1 song on the Billboard Hot 100 right now is "Rich Men North of Richmond." Yeah, that's the name of the song.
Now North of Richmond, he's trying to insinuate that the U.S. capital.
Oh, so let's get into
is
it.
north of Richmond.
Let's get into the song. Let's.
Okay, so I'm going to read some lyrics and see if you can relate to what he's saying. Okay, even if you're not living his life, see if there's some feeling in there that you can relate to. I've been selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours for bullshit pay, so I can sit out here and waste my life away, drag back home and drown my troubles away. It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me and people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Living in a new world with an old soul. These rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all want to have total control, want to know what you think, want to know what you do, and they don't think you know. Okay, so okay, here's what. So you get the point. I'm going to play actually a little bit of it for you as well.
Let's watch him.
Yeah, so
We can see him, right? We can look at his face. I think that's a big deal.
Yeah, so see if you feel anything from this performance, whether it's your style of music or not.
I'm gonna mute so I don't mess anything up.
Okay.
I'll
just confirm
mute
you
it.
can
I'll
see it and
mute
hear
too.
it when I put it up. You can see it now, right?
Yeah, that's good.
They all just wanna have total control. Wanna know what you think, wanna know what you do, and they don't think you know, but I know that you do. 'Cause your dollar ain't shit, and it's taxed to no end. 'Cause the rich men, 'cause the rich men. I wish politicians would look out for minors and not just miners on an island somewhere. Lord, we got folks in the street, ain't got nothing to eat, and the obese milking welfare. Well, God, if you're 5'3".
Okay.
Yeah.
So
The
yeah,
Hard to
it's
stop.
powerful.
Yeah.
Makes you want to listen to the rest.
Yeah, and he really cries into the microphone. It feels like
That's what. Yeah.
It feels like a
It's captivating. It's very captivating.
yeah, like there is something about it that it doesn't sound like again, I'm such a dinosaur. I don't know really the names of all the current pop stars or whatever, but they all sound like just this, like
Yeah.
kind of
That's enough.
that's it. You see what that is.
That's enough.
Here is a song
yeah.
that is gonna make me money. My producers told me to sing it. Here is some auto-tune. Here is some reverb.
And they told me to wear
and
this.
I will
Yeah.
wear almost nothing, and we will make some money. Here's another song. Buy my album. That's pretty much what music became in the last 20 years, right?
That's very accurate.
And that's just there's also the visual aspect of it. Music is basically porn today. It's like that. That's kind of like the porn industry and the music industry became like kind of an overlapping. Anyway, so the quality of music, authentic music that comes from true angst, that comes from the heart, that is clearly missing in our society. And I think this is clearly what something that made this thing hit so hard. What is it, like 40 million views now in 20 days or something?
On his channel, plus everywhere else that it is.
Right.
As you're saying this, when you think about a lot of popular music and a lot of celebrity lifestyle, it's really about flaunting how beautiful you are and flaunting how much money you have or what kind of car you're driving and all that. So I want to also show you the post that he
that's
made.
right.
The post.
Yeah.
And is it like pleasant to the ears? Like here, you're even seeing like it's the folk music, so the saying of the words is a lot slower. It's a lot clearer, so you can really like attach each word to a certain emotion. So it's a lot easier to follow than just something that's like someone saying it really fast too.
It's very, again, to his credit, the in terms of like authenticity, and it really feels like, without any relationship with the lyrics even, and what he says and how he says it and who in his background or whatever, it really feels like there's a person here who's like really trying to touch your heart with what they feel. They really want to echo some message here. And this is so opposite and far from any kind of, the standard mainstream pop music that we see that is just coming from, give me money.
I wonder if the pop stars get nervous when they see this, that they're going to lose their jobs, or if they relate to it, or if they realize that it'll just be gone tomorrow.
They're probably picking up cues. They're probably like, oh, I need to get in some heartfelt music.
Yeah.
And everyone loves a redhead. I mean, let's be honest. That's appealing.
So here's his post on social media. He says here, I dropped
Can you blow it up a little? Zoom in, like control plus.
What post? Why is he writing a post?
I think just so people know who it's
a bit more. Give
us
more font size. Can you do more? Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay.
There
It's
we
been
go.
difficult to browse through all these messages, the stories, the suicide, addiction, unemployment, anxiety, depression, hopelessness.
So this is what people are sending to him. Yeah.
So he's writing, people in the music industry give me blank stares when I brush off an $8 million contract. I don't want 6 tour buses and 15 tractor trailers and a jet. I don't want to play stadium shows. I don't want to be in the spotlight. I wrote music. I wrote because I was suffering with mental health and depression. So he says here, I dropped out of high school at the age of 17. I worked a bunch of jobs. I worked third shift 6 days a week for $14.50 an hour in a living hell. I had an injury. I've been working outside sales for a company and getting to know tens of thousands of other blue-collar workers on job sites and in factories. I spent all day, every day for the last 10 years hearing the same story. People are so damn tired of being neglected, divided, and manipulated. He says, There's nothing special about me. I'm not a good musician. I'm not a good person. I spent 5 years struggling with mental illness and using alcohol to drown it. I'm sad to see the world in the state that it's in, with everyone fighting with each other. I spent many nights feeling hopeless. And it goes on. You can see it's something very authentic. It's unique that
It does look like
something
that.
like
Feels like that. Yeah.
yeah. So it's super unique in a world that is so fake that people are hold on, that people are they crave now
Right.
something real. They crave at the moment that something real comes out, people respond to it, and
This is this is where it gets really paradoxical, I would say. I mean, look, I mean, right. There's no doubt that this, I think, expresses people's craving for authenticity. The fact that a lot of people relate to that. I mean, look at also the there's like 150,000 comments there under that video, and if you scroll through a little bit, you see that a lot of people are just saying, you're singing what I'm feeling, you're singing what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Like clearly there's, he also talks about like economic inequality, and as opposed to putting you to sleep with some cheap entertainment, he talks about something that's very real, difficult, and makes you
putting your
angry.
consciousness to sleep. It
Yes.
actually may make your body dance.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it
yeah, yeah.
puts your consciousness to sleep.
That's right. That's right. So he kind of awakens something real in people, painful, real, and gets them, I guess, to somewhat reflect about the world. And you can say, yes, this shows there's an awakening for authenticity. And then at the same time, check this out. Okay, I'm I'm not gonna check this out.
You're gonna
No, I'm gonna show my screen here. But okay, so you see this?
she's showing you more authentic.
Okay, okay. So I don't want to, show
That's just like an Instagram page. A run-of-the-mill Instagram page.
Okay, so this is Natalia Novak. Okay, what is she? I'm saying
familiar.
deliberately, what is she?
She looks very
What is
authentic
she?
and natural.
Yeah, this is, I don't even need to stop and, click on this, right? But you get the picture. But what is it? Model Natalia Novak, 21-year-old US virtual AI influencer. Okay, you got that little title, virtual AI influencer, beauty icon featured in Autobabes magazine. Autobabes magazine is a magazine that features auto babes, meaning people who look like this, and they are automatically generated by a computer. This is not a real person. This is not a real person, but if you see these numbers...
Hold on. What do you mean it's not a real person?
I mean that there's a guy who uses AI to create her. And he calls himself...
And that's an image that a computer generated.
Yes. All of this is computer generated. She doesn't exist. I can show you I know how to use some of these AI tools. Very simple.
I was so hopeful that people were craving something authentic.
Bro, check this out. When you click on these things, it's like, look at this. Look, like,
yeah, I can't read
people
the
are
comments. What does it say down
writing.
there?
People are writing to her, whatever it is.
Maybe they don't know that it's maybe they don't know it's AI.
Maybe they don't know. You know what the guy says? The guy who made her? Wait. There was something here in the article. I got to show you that. I usually just call myself her manager. Wait, this ad is bugging me. The reason for this, of course, is that I'm playing a character and people don't want to know so directly who's behind it. Listen, people don't want to know so directly who's behind it, even if they could piece it together if they want to. Does that make sense?
That's what I'm
So
feeling. I'm feeling
he
that people don't, even if they'll suspend reality just
the
to.
So they don't care, is what you're saying.
he says wait, I wanna show you that there was a specific quote here that got me.
Do
Um,
Control F.
um, there are people who get into relationships with someone else's persona using their own, which I know because they're public about it. I've seen it a couple of times. And then later on, wait a second.
Oh, there
Most
it is. Yeah,
people,
I see the last line.
uh, m- what, this one? Maybe it's this one, yeah.
Yeah,
Most people know
yeah.
they're never gonna meet Natalia in real life in either case. Pierre is the he's the programmer, the creator of this AI.
Her manager.
But yeah, but the visuals allow them to fantasize about it, whether she's real or not. Somewhere else there in the article, he also says you'll be amazed. Like the reporter asks him, don't you think people care if she's real or not? He says that from his experience monitoring this page and what people write, he says you'd be amazed to discover, somewhere here in the article, can't find it right now, how little people care about whether she's real or not. It doesn't. People are. It's just like, I can scroll this thing and even communicate with this. I don't even care. That's kind of the mindset of people. So why am I bringing this up? So you have millions of people now craving.
It's a damn shame.
It's a damn
What the world
shame.
got
Yeah.
into for people like me.
Exactly.
For people like you.
Yeah. And
Damn shame.
so how do you
Oh, man.
so how do you reconcile this paradox? This is where we are. On the one hand, you have millions of people, feeling their hearts broken when they hear Oliver Anthony, singing about economic inequality and whatever, and the powerful elite that is. He's also, that's another point we should dissect, by the way. But craving for authenticity on the one hand, and at the same time, the same humanity in the 21st century is becoming fans of virtual AI influencers that don't exist, and literally just wallowing in fakeness. So
I think the
how,
same-
what do
I
you
don't
make
even
of
think it's a-
that? What do you make of that?
I don't even. Of course, you could split the population up to more who would go into the first category and the second category. I think that actually, that now that I'm thinking about it, that the same person could crave authenticity and also get lost on that Instagram page.
Well, that same person is every other. I mean, we're all kind of the same. I mean, we all are wanting just to feel good. It's hard to think about the hard things in life. Oliver Anthony, he paints it in a way that it's like, pleasant to listen to, because it's like watching a dramatic or a scary, not scary, like a drama, right? You kind of get caught up, even though it's really sad, you get caught up in it, and it's entertaining because you go along with the emotions, right? That's understandable. But the same person also is going through hard times also. So here on the Patricia looked like she said that her basement flooded, right? So everyone, sorry about that, Patricia, that's really annoying. Sorry to hear about all that mess. So everyone has their own kind of mess, right? And so they identify with what Oliver Anthony's saying. But then at the same time, you've got, what am I going to do? What are we trying to revolt here? Are we trying to, like, what are we doing, guys? So if there's no plan B, I'm just going to take whatever I've got. And if that just means drown my sorrows away, like Oliver Anthony spoke about, or if that just means like following some AI chick, which so I don't have to think about the world, if that means stuffing my face for 24 hours a day, so I'm kind of like, just, secluded by myself. I get it. That's just that's just how the world is.
I'm wondering if there's a hybrid. I'm wondering if both of these things are kind of natural. Like, for example, I need sleep and I need food, right? Well, how can you need food if you're going to sleep? Well, no, I don't need them at the exact same moment, but I need both. I wonder if people have a craving for something authentic, and simultaneously we're just wired for pleasure so much that it's as if it's almost autopilot. that if you, like we talked about at the beginning, right? If we just increase the salt a little bit, we'll increase soda sales. There's nothing conscious going on the part of the consumer. They increased the salt. You bought more soda. They knew you were going to do that just because of how your machinery works, your inner machinery works. So maybe these, I'm wondering if we could engineer some kind of hybrid here where we could make it beneficial that people would want something authentic. People would get pleasure out of authenticity.
I also see the like an inherent connection between these two things. I mean, it's interesting from a sociological perspective. It's interesting to see this happening at the same time. You have these virtual AI influencers that are getting also like more and more people following that that level of fakeness. And then you have like people like Oliver Anthony like just crying from from his guts through his song and awakening people about how bad the world is. I would say, isn't it possible that these two tendencies actually feed each other? Meaning that as human beings, how can you tell fake from true? How can you tell if truth from? How can you tell if something's true? Only based on falsehood. You know what I mean? Like, how can you be the fact that our world is drowning in fakeness and artificial everything, and this is going to just grow and grow more and more with artificial intelligence, because basically everyone's going to use artificial intelligence to make money, to maximize attention, and that's just going to create the shortest, easiest ways to keep people engaged. And anyway, we can see where that is going. So no real, like no heart behind it, probably, right? In many cases. And then on the other hand, people are still humans and they have a real pain and a real kind of human sense of life. And they look for something like authenticity and true emotion and so forth. So I think these two opposite trends, these opposite tendencies, are kind of like building us up in a very weird, unconscious way.
Like you're saying, the more fake that we kind of uncover, like, I mean, the epitome, like you just said, this the AI.
The more the need for truth grows. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The more fake the world is. I mean, and you see this everywhere. Look at news, right? Didn't we had this? There was a really good example last week. We talked about it. I think maybe I can't remember. Last week, 2 weeks ago, when with regards to how it's very clear that people. We talked about how the news, the mainstream news, they have to like discuss the conspiracy theories because so people are, because people are so in such a distrust, they're also looking for trust. It's so I think it's like it's a paradoxical growth that we're on as a culture.
Yeah. And that's really interesting. That's what I love about this show. Whenever it's like, what are we actually looking at? Whenever we, I don't know, bring up a topic on the show or something, really what we're doing is saying, this is what's going on inside of like the internal reality of humanity. We're talking about some external,
right,
physical manifestation of it, but really we're talking about what is going on the inside. So
like
you're saying,
what's the guts
of
human development?
What's the guts? That's it. Yeah. So that's what's interesting. That's fun. So we can talk about any topic, but really all we're talking about this like inner motor that's going on.
Do
we have anything else to talk about?
There are, but yeah. Okay, go ahead.
If just go on a journey with me for a second. Imagine it's a couple hundred years ago during the Irish potato blight, the famine in Ireland, and 20% of the population is dying. And you get on a boat, like your village is dead, half your family died, and you get on a boat, and you end up in the Appalachian Mountains,
Okay.
where he's from. This is this whole southern mountain range in the
Okay.
U.S. on the East Coast. Okay, that's where he is. That's that working all day, working hard, all that hillbilly music. That
pretty
all
good.
comes from like that Scottish Irish immigrants,
Okay.
like that came over there. So you're there. It's like 1800, the year 1800. Your family died. There's no food. You're struggling. You can't make ends meet. And you sing a song from the heart.
Right.
That's one picture.
Okay. Okay.
Now, 200 years later, people are sick. Another guy, great-great-great-great-grandson's living in the same area in the Appalachian Mountains, and life is hard, and people are dying, and people are sick, and you're singing a similar song, just you change the story a little bit, but it's no less hard for them, for example, than it is for you. That have 25% of your family was wiped out from this famine. You had to cross the ocean with no food and scurvy and everything else, right? And you're trying to make life in a new mountain range somewhere. There's no like paved roads. There's no running water. You're trying to figure out your new life in this new country, disconnected from everything. Or Oliver Anthony here, who is singing about how hard it is to just pay his bills and how people are struggling and how the country feels divided. Except today, singing the same song, it's juxtaposed against all of this abundance and all of the McDonald's and all of the Avatar 2 and all of the Spider-Man 10 and all of these. So
Yeah.
when you said that both of these things are like juxtaposed, right?
Yeah.
So now there's all these discernments about it. It's like,
It makes there's room for thinking about it. Before there's like, no, we need to survive, and let's figure out how to survive.
yeah. Now it's like you're singing the same song, but it's after.
Let's go deeper here a little bit
Okay.
with Oliver Anthony's lyrics. Okay, so he is clearly pointing a blaming finger towards the rich and powerful, right? I mean, the
Well,
name
who
of
else
the
are you gonna
song. The name of the song is Richmond, North of Richmond, right? Which, if what were you saying, Chris, in the beginning? What does that refer
He's
to?
pointing towards, because North of Richmond is like where the capital is in West Virginia.
Like Washington D.C., basically.
Yeah.
That's like north of where he is from. Okay, so I mean, clearly, that there's also like a mention of the Epstein case there, if I got it right. I mean, so clearly he's also blaming. So he's basically saying that there's this elite, they want to have total control, and we're like, we don't buy it. I don't buy it. I know you don't buy it. And
They want to know what you think. They want to know what you do.
There you go.
They want to,
Right. Now, here's a tough question to Oliver. If you grew up in, if you were one of those suits, basically, if you grew up in the suits, I mean, one of those people who are like the rich and powerful.
North of
If you were a Richmond, North of Richmond, right? And completely different grew up in different place, different mentality, different background, different environment, different conditions, different education, different friends, grew up into like a whole different kind of route in life and everything. If you would be in their shoes, can you safely and certainly say that you would be any different? That's not an easy question. So are we, I mean, when we're looking at, yes, this song expresses people's need for authenticity, and it kind of echoes the pain that people feel and so forth. But when it comes to really moving humanity towards a solution, we have to go and to point at the true culprit, the true criminal. And the criminal here, I would say, is not the haves or the have-nots or the rich and powerful or the other people or it's just human nature. That's the problem that we're dealing with. That we are, as human beings, we just don't care enough about each other. We don't feel connected to each other. We don't care about the well-being of each other as much as each one just cares about his own well-being. And that is missing in our society, in between human beings. And that's the true bane. That's the true source of pain. But
so who is he actually yelling at? So let's say, because he in the lyrics he was saying, you know, I wish you would basically care about us more. That's what he was saying. And then your question to Oliver was, if you were in the suit's
would
position,
you care?
the Richmond position, would you care?
Yeah.
So you have these people. So you have one saying you should care more, and the other one's basically saying like I can't care. So then what are you supposed to? That's kind of what that's what they're saying. Like maybe I could. I don't know, but they're not. You know,
I'm kind of saying that ultimately, if we are talking about a true awakening of humanity, if we're talking about awakening in a way that will allow us to change society for the better, it has to be centered on the need for connection and care between everyone. That's the one.
You're gonna have to. You made
Yeah.
too big of a jump. You're gonna have to be way more nuanced with me, because what I see he's saying is that I see my fellow blue collar workers suffering,
Right?
and I see these people paying us less, taxing us more.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
so we don't have any control. There's nothing we can do. You know, we're going to get up every day and work for barely any pay, because if we don't, we won't be able to eat.
Right.
So what else do you want me to do? I don't have any free time. I'm
right. It
working.
seems like one person has
the bone.
Yeah, so I'm saying one person has the option
Yeah,
to do
so-
something. And that's where.
So it's like
kind
very nice
confusing.
of you saying, Asaf, well, actually everyone is,
Yeah,
no
no,
one's to
no.
blame
I
there.
agree with
Okay,
all
we
of
all
that.
just get along.
I agree with all of that. I'm not saying can't we all just get along, though. I'm saying that the problem, the cause, the root cause is not that I don't believe that there are good people and bad people. I believe there's either people who feel connected or people who feel disconnected. And that's the problem. The problem is we feel disconnected. We don't care about each other because we don't feel connected. Now, I don't have any complaint to Oliver or anything like that. I'm just looking at it from an evolutionary perspective, and I'm saying a true change, changing the game in society, where we to a place where we no longer have that kind of disparity and that kind of neglect and that kind of distrust and so forth, requires care, requires a sense of connection. And with the growth, the development of the fakeness of our world, we're on the one hand losing that connection more and more. You can argue that people in the past were more connected to each other, to a community, to family, even family. The sense of human connection. You could say, I think it's, widely agreed that we're with the 21st century. As time goes by, we are becoming more lonely and more secluded and less connected, and every individual think about even just we're just going, this is a wide-ranging talk about human culture.
Here we go.
Someone mentioned to me recently how those dating apps work today. Just think about that. Just think about it. There's this you swipe things based on your pictures, basically based on your immediate kind of sexual attraction to images, and then the app matches you. Okay, you swiped this, the other guy swiped on you. Now you're like, there's everything is so how we're creating our environments and feedback loops. It's all centered on immediate individual benefit, and not on
Dogs smell each other's tail and pick. So
that's great. I don't. That's all they have. That's all they have. The human needs more. The human needs a sense of connection. The human needs a sense of community. The human needs to feel affection. The human needs to feel loved. And the human society, if we are to heal society, to create a society that actually works, where people are happy, where then people need to feel, the air needs to change, the social climate needs to change. We have to, you need to feel concern. And this is, to an extent, this is what he's singing about. He's basically saying, look, people are killing themselves, right? They're like putting, how did he say it? Like putting them 6 feet down, putting themselves because this country just keeps kicking them down. I think what echoes from that song is that sense of, that there's lack of, no one cares for me.
The lack.
The lack of concern, the lack of care. That thing is felt. How to fix it is not by, that's something that's missing. This understanding is missing. That if we want to fix it, we need to start caring for each other. That is already a spiritual shift. That's a quantum leap. I agree with you. There's a jump here. This is a revolution of the human heart that has to
because you're
happen.
always going to have someone, the evolution of the human heart, totally, but you're always going to have someone who doesn't feel cared for, because there's pain because they don't feel cared for, and all the other problems associated with not feeling cared for, right? Or even being cared for in practice. And then the ones who have kind of the quote unquote luxury of not needing to care. Mm-hmm. If I almost don't need to hear your cry for that.
By the way, that's another aspect. I think if that's what you're saying, that, I mean, people who are well off financially, economically, they definitely have an easier life. Let's be, obvious about it. Of course they have an easier life. If you're struggling to make ends meet every day, etc., versus you have what you need for your basic necessities and more, your daily struggle is easier. There's no doubt. That being said, there is a ton of mental health issues, depression, loneliness, and just sadness and emptiness that is happening big time among the wealthy. There's a lot of I can't remember we talked about it at some point, but I recently saw some new information about it. Maybe it was Jordan Peterson said something about it. I can't remember, but there was some data talking about how the amount of mental health issues and psychotherapy sessions that are happening, by people that are considered very wealthy and very successful economically. What I'm saying is that as a society, we're all lost. We're all disconnected. We're all isolated. It's not really that some people are, having a happy life.
So everyone's suffering. If you suffer from lack of food, or being able to cover your roof or pay for your kids' shoes, this is one level of very visceral suffering.
Yeah.
There's also another suffering, which is when you can buy anything you want, mm-hmm. and you're still completely empty inside. So this is another suffering. Yeah. So mm-hmm. nobody has an exclusive on suffering.
Yeah. And what we are truly missing to fix both the material level for everyone and the emotional fulfillment for everyone is connection. That lies at the core.
So part of our solution, part of the solution of the Kabbalists is that every person, first of all, the basic necessities have to be met.
Of course.
Food. You need to be able to walk outside.
Yes.
Not get shot. children be able to play.
And talking about paradoxical situations that we're in, this I think is a big one. This is a huge one. What do I mean? As time progresses, as technology advances, as the use of AI everywhere becomes ubiquitous, and 3D printing, and the whole cultured food revolution, all that, it's going to become so cheap, easy, fast to produce food for everyone. I'm just giving food now as an example. And then
let's talk about life in the last generation. Yeah, let's talk about that.
What's life in the last generation? That's
what you're. I'm just naming what you were about to describe.
Yeah. So we're going into a future where it's going to be so paradoxical to not just feed, clothe, and house everyone. It's going to be ridiculous. It's already ridiculous if you understand, industry and production a little bit, and what really the reason that people don't have what they need. I'm talking basic necessities. The reason people don't have what they need is not because there's any shortage of anything. Nothing is missing. Nothing is lacking. This is just a complete distortion of reality. We're completely just not seeing it. If we think that there are some resources lacking, or some money is missing, or that's just BS. That's it. There is everything needed to feed, clothe, and house the entire world.
There's enough food. There's
several
enough
times
food
over.
Produced to feed the whole world.
Yes. Yes.
There's enough energy that everybody could have lights. I just want to ask a few questions.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that analysts, know much better than us, and can give you numbers. But just something that a lot of people know. Up to 50% of the food produced globally in the world is going to waste. Up to 50%. What does that tell you? And it just
what
tells
does
you.
It tell? I don't understand. What does it say?
It says that there's a ton. It's exactly. It says that there is enough food. It's just not getting to where it needs to go. Now, why? Now that already has to do with the social economic order. Now, someone listening to me might immediately say, "Okay, you're pushing communism on me," and that's a problem. Knee-jerk reactions, mind looks. I'm not saying anything. Not at all that we need to go in a communist direction. That already proved to be very bad and much worse than where we are today. But where we are today is also gradually becoming irrelevant. It's becoming irrelevant. A lot of ideas, I think, are in the next few decades are going to be, they're going to have to be revisited, reconsidered. Labor for income, for example.
So, okay,
right.
Okay. So minimum basic income. This is a whole other story. But
let's not go deep into there.
Let's imagine that they put us, they gave us a leadership job for a couple years, and we fed everybody. Okay, every single child, every single family has enough food. Nobody in the country goes to sleep hungry. Not only that, we set up physical education programs, so every kid, and even every adult who wants to, has an opportunity every single day or a few days a week to go out to enjoy, to play. Okay, so everyone is fed, everyone can play, and not only that, we implemented natural, like gardening wherever possible, and taught people how to grow tomatoes, in their kitchen, and herbs in their kitchen, and everyone is now eating well.
These are things that everyone wants. Everyone wants exactly what you're saying.
Okay. So, within 5 years, they put us in control. There's plenty of money. God knows there's enough money for everything. There's enough government workers. We make sure that every kid has every family, every person in the whole country, right? If they put us in charge of the world, we'd make sure every person in the whole world has food, gets to play every day, can eat, and what else did we say? And is healthy, has doctors if they need anything.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now what? Now,
yeah.
now Richmond and North, now Richmond of North, North of, now what is this guy going to sing about?
Right. So this is a deep question then, because you're really asking about what's the motivation to life for the human being. That's really, the
I'm even going more simple. You said
Okay.
there's enough food, there's enough this, there's enough
Yep.
everything. So I'm saying, okay, so we distribute it. Then what
Well,
happens?
you're
in
basically
some
saying
way,
people
yeah.
are not going to be
I'm
happy.
not going to the
People
final.
won't be happy.
No, I'm not saying that either. I'm saying, what do you do next? Now we fed everybody.
That-
Now everyone's got
so
enough
the
to
human
eat and a
is
place
more
to live. So what's there
right.
left to be
So-
unhappy about?
So the human is more than the animal that we are, the animalistic body that we have. We need more than just having food, clothes so we're not cold, and a roof over our head, and take care of our body if it's sick. We need more than that. We need spiritual fulfillment, emotional fulfillment, call it non-material fulfillment. Don't know how to call, you can call it whatever you want, but that level of fulfillment doesn't come from food, sex, money, or even actually even other things that we
okay, you still didn't answer the question. So we give everybody all the stuff they want.
yeah.
We even work it out
Yes.
that we make sure that everyone who wants can find, a partner. We just
So
start
they're not
talking to
lonely, you
people.
mean? Because that was a big problem too.
We just
not-
after everyone's fed and has been to the doctor and started exercising and starting feeling good, we just started talking. We started having these circles where people talk and start to
Okay.
organize themselves based on interests. And different couples got together, gay, straight, we don't even care, whoever. They just start finding other people with the same interests. They like each other. Now everyone's paired up too. Okay, now what?
This is so you're talking about a society that basic needs are being met, yeah.
Yes.
And you're saying that there is some social connection, pro-social values being encouraged and rewarded
I'm
in
just
that
saying
society.
that all of those kind of necessity things that we all think we
Necessity, I got.
they're
What about the
met.
whole? Yeah, and what about the whole?
No, I'm saying it's even a necessity to just have somebody to hug, to talk
because we
to.
said people are missing connection. They're lonely, and so we're saying, okay, we'll fulfill that one too.
Well,
Covered.
right, but there's even a deeper level than that. Okay, we're taking it bit by bit by bit. There's even
5
a
minutes, go.
deeper level than that. The human being ultimately develops to a point where they need to discover what they're living for. What I'm saying right now may not be relevant to 90% of the people right now consciously, but ultimately, from a spiritual evolution perspective, that's where we're going. We need to know why we're here, why we even exist. Why do we exist on this planet in this life? Are we just here to have the nicest life we can, most comfortable, abundantly filled kind of 80, 90, 100 years with our body and that's it? Or there's actually something beyond that? And Kabbalistically speaking, there definitely is, and everything that we go through here in this world is only to get there. It's this world, this whole earthly experience is just a passageway. It's like a corridor to a much broader reality, and all the problems that we have in our world, which come from lack of connection between people, they're designed to push us towards connection. If we engage in connection, we will begin to find that path into the broader reality, because that's the key towards it. That's why this world is built in a way where if we're not connected to each other, we suffer. When we begin to connect with each other, we discover a deeper desire and a deeper access to a new level of life, to a new level of existence. An existence that is not, that doesn't rely on the body. an existence that relies on the mind of nature itself that connects everything. Through the connection between us, human beings, if we create such a society that begins to focus their minds and hearts on connections between us, we'll discover that human connection, human affection, human friendliness, that's just the superficial level of something much deeper, and that is the eternal connection to the mind of nature itself, which is connection, that quality of connection that connects all of life, all of nature, across all of space and all of time. It's a quality of connection that we can acquire through beginning to connect to each other.
Well, it seems like it's really hidden because because you're saying the corridor is, on one hand, everyone's super lonely, right? And they're no one can really, everyone hates kind of each other. And on the other hand, you're saying that's exactly what we need. You're saying the thing that you don't want the most, kind of, you have an internal need for it. You're dying for it. This guy's screaming, right? Like we need to be cared for. We need other people. We need to have this good relationship between us.
Yeah, well, he's still not pointing exactly to the problem of lack of connection, but like at least, something towards that. Yeah. And if you look at things from this perspective, now you understand the 21st century much better. If you understand that we're being pushed by evolution, by spiritual evolution, that is, to develop a desire to a new quality of life, of beyond this body, that has to do with connection to the rest of reality, between us, to each other, and to the rest of nature, to the rest of reality. If you see that as the goal of what's happening to us right now, then you can reverse engineer and understand, oh, this is why everything's becoming so fake. And on the other hand, we're becoming more and more distrustful towards each other, and disappointed and disillusioned with reality.
Super vulnerable to authenticity.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. And because the vulnerability to authenticity, as you called it, is like the flip side of being immersed in a fake world. The one thing feeds the other. And so nature is actually driving, nature's program is actually driving all of this evolutionary processes that are happening. And both the fakeness of our world and the sparks of authenticity that gradually and more like these will happen.
Are we going to see a trend? Yeah, we're going to see a trend of more authentic.
I think we're going to see a lot of fake, more and more fake, and then a little bit of spark of something, and a lot more like that.
I think this guy is going to. I don't know, but probably he'll fade away. He won't, but I mean the phenomenon, because there's a third factor besides just being authentic, and there has to be some kind of like method behind it. There needs to be something I can hold on to from day after day. We didn't get a chance to talk about that yet. So what we did discover is that as people are craving more and more authenticity, this fakeness that people are willing to even follow and comment on a fake AI influencer.
Oh, and it's only the beginning. It's only the beginning. We should do a whole show just talking about that. The kind of things that are happening right now, AI girlfriend apps, all kinds of things. This is the reality.
This is something. Okay, so we need to also understand where that's leading us.
Yeah.
Where is it leading us that we are willing to suspend our seemingly natural life and our natural need for authenticity as long as we can just be fulfilled on some level, even if it's totally fake and we know it's fake. This third thing that we need, and we'll maybe bring that up in that conversation, is what is the way to, like, what are we going to we're going to just sit around and wait every 6 months for something authentic to pop up? You know, are we going to? Is there something we can do from day to day? Is there a place we can go? Is there a path we can get on? Is there someone? Is there support somewhere? That's what we're interested in. That's what we found. That's what we're talking about. So while one song may come and another song may go, we want something that is beyond all of the fads, beyond all the ups and downs. From the beginning of time until the end of time. That's what we're interested in talking about. That's what we want to hear from you, how you relate to it. We're reading all your comments, everybody. And guys, thank you. We're at the end of the line here. We will be back next Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern. We will continue our journey to that place.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Night, everybody.
To belong, to come here as a friend. The light is strong to touch our soul at last. I need you to show me something good. Show me how. Something to happen. We did turn